looking back at week 4. Obviously, look, if you're a football fan overall, hopefully you got a chance to watch some college football, because Saturday may have been one of the best days on paper, and then living up to it, it was incredible. Sunday games were good. Sunday night's game was amazing until we got to kiss our sister and the tie. And then on top of that, we get 2 of probably the biggest blowouts of the season. Not even Monday night blowouts, just big time blowouts. Kind of a bit of a bummer end to week 4. But Raider Jim, your thoughts on the week overall?
Oh, wow. I've got all these little tiny notes. Usually it's just 1, 2, or 3 that I feel like it's worth mentioning. But, you got to say kudos to Jaxson Dart, man. Yep. He did it. He got them back on track. And I'll tell you what, I think I've got down in my notes that they're probably going to win 2 in a row. And that would be quite a feat, wouldn't it? I don't know how I feel about Russell Wilson, kind of taking the back seat in this one. But at the same time, you got to do what you got to do. Somebody's got to fall on the sword and all those little cliches that we use at this time. But congratulations to the Giants and the Giant fans who finally got to go to bed and wake up on Monday morning and talk about the big victory. Kansas City, they look like they're back. That's for darn sure. That was old Kansas City, and what a difference a Worthy makes. Because I think having him back there just really, really, really gave Patrick that one extra target that he needed, reliable target. And that kid is just quick, but they played a great game all the way around. Fun game to watch, and kudos to them. Poor Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, just nothing has gone right for them this season. You and I both said, I think both of you and I thought they are going to challenge the Bills, and this could be the year they finally make up for everything they haven't done. Wow, I think that I understand it's early, but they're going to have to work to get to the playoffs, I think. And a couple more miscues like they've had over the first 4 weeks, and not going to be good. Like I said, you get to the Bengals, and what do you got? You got a quarterback, initials JB, and that's where it stops. That was the comparison, and that's all you're going to get. Poor Bengals. I don't know what they're going to do. They're not going to it's just not going to get any easier for the next 4 or 5 weeks. So, hearts out to that fan base. Tyreek Hill, whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you appreciate him, or you really just don't have feelings for him one way or the other, I don't want to see anybody get hurt like that guy got hurt. And I haven't even seen it. I understand it wasn't a contact really, and it wasn't that big of a thing. But they said his knee dislocated, he ripped his ACL, and he ripped a bunch of other ligaments. 31 years old.
Yeah.
32 by the time he's fully recovered. Odds are Tyreek has seen his best days, and he may never be back on the field, because that's a big gamble if you put him back in the lineup. Dylan Gabriel going to get the start in Cleveland. Joe Flacco only moves down 1 spot. So guess what that means? Shedeur Sanders is still the 3rd best quarterback in Cleveland, who I understand was on some show. Somebody brought him on and had the nerve to sit there and say, I'm looking at some of these quarterbacks that are starting in the NFL, and I'm better than them. And that is the product of a spoiled kid whose dad runs his mouth and lets the kid run his mouth. Because my dad would have cuffed me and said, shut your mouth. Until you're the starter, you don't talk like that. But that didn't happen in their household, apparently. So that's an interesting one for me. And then also, when everything wasn't wacky enough, we get, like you said, a tie.
Yeah.
And then the way it went down, I was just like, does nobody know clock management? Do you not know your opponent? If you give them that much time, it's going to happen. Sure enough, it happened. So it was kind of a fun week, really.
Yeah, it was a very weird week. And the tie, obviously, I mean, a 40-40 tie. There needs to be, first of all, ties should not exist. I mean, we talk about player safety. I get that. Meanwhile, we're going to play Thursday games where, I mean, in 5 years, we're going to be playing a game in Antarctica, I'm sure. So it's hard to get that. I mean, I literally prefer a new coin toss, and then whoever wins the coin toss gets the win. Just because I'm thinking down the line when it comes to, I mean, obviously for the Packers, and I really do think for the Cowboys. Cowboys have impressed me. When you get down to the playoffs, trying to factor in a darn tie, not even the minuscule part of our Sunday night. I mean, you stay up to watch that, and it ends in a tie. But down the line, this is really gonna. It's not going to be as cut and dry for us non-math whizzes out there, and I don't think there's a whole lot of math whizzes in the football community. So that's a bummer, but I'm glad that where you started, because for me, I do believe the storyline of week 4 is Jaxson Dart and what they were able to do, not only just in the game, but against a team that I think we all thought in the Chargers were maybe an AFC contender, one that would be able to challenge the Chiefs, Bills, and at the time Ravens. And again, I don't think the Chargers are in, oh my gosh, but I think it's a wake-up call for them. But this is more about the Giants and Jaxson Dart, because not only did Jaxson Dart do what he needed to do, but that really young defense was very, very good. That defensive line, I'm telling you, when it comes to Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and there's someone else on there, relatively young. He's kind of the veteran on there, but his name escapes me. But they have the makings of a very good team. Now, it is a bit unfortunate because if you're a Giants fan, you feel, hey, we might have found our quarterback for the future. It seems like almost instantaneously you lost your wide receiver for the future. And that's very difficult. Obviously, Malik Neighbors, I believe it's been confirmed he's done for the year. Very sad to see that. One of the really bright young wide receivers in the game. So a little bit of a monkey's paw situation there for the Giants, but I do think that was the big story of the weekend. And going to the Bengals, obviously.
One more on the Giants.
Yes, please.
I think Brian Burns is the other guy you were thinking of. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yep, thank you. And he was they traded for him, so I mean they didn't draft him, so I think that's why his name escapes me. But yeah, that defensive line, that defense in general, if they can get a little bit from their offense, watch out. Now, the one thing I will say, just to finish up things on Jaxson Dart, I think teams are going to force him to throw the ball more.
Sure.
He may be perfectly fine doing that. I'm not saying he's not capable. I really do like Jaxson Dart, even as an Eagles fan, even at Ole Miss. Take that Florida game out. But anyways, I do think going forward, you're going to see more spies. You're going to see more clinical rushes of keeping him in the pocket. And again, that's what the NFL is all about. It's about adjusting, because the defenses already are adjusting to you. How do you react to it? But the other side of it is the Bengals. Because as you mentioned, the similarities end at the initials. Jake Browning, coming into this season, I was kind of like, he's okay. And unfortunately, the last few weeks, he has shown that he is not going to be good enough to compete in the NFL if the Bengals want to compete. But you brought up a name earlier that I think is interesting. This is the moment right now for the Bengals. If they are serious, that division is wide open. Wide open. You can make a case for all 4 teams in the AFC North if the Bengals can get an average quarterback. And there are options out there, whether it is Russell Wilson, whether it is Jameis Winston, who knows? Maybe they wait for 2 weeks, and there are going to be plenty of people who roll their eyes when I say this, but maybe when JJ McCarthy gets back, Carson Wentz is available to start. And look,
absolutely,
you might not like Carson Wentz a lot, but if you're going to sit here and tell me, would you rather watch Jake Browning on Monday night or Carson Wentz? Come on now. So there are options out there. Will they pull the trigger? That ownership group is notoriously fine with not being good, and being very diplomatic with that. But the Bengals need to figure something out. But there's time. Again, they have the pieces there. They're just missing a quarterback. It's not easy to fix mid-season, but again, if they can go out, even a Russell Wilson playing an average ball, I think could really elevate the Bengals. And again, that division, who do you trust right now? Even with Pittsburgh playing pretty darn well, eventually something's going to happen in that locker room. So
right.
That AFC North wide open. I think the Bengals need to pull a trigger now, but we shall see.